And welcome to the January 2015 Gaming PC Builds of the Month, brought to you by noobcomputerbuild.com. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm excited to bring these builds again this year. And starting it off with the very first month of the year, we have these three builds: the $600 build, the $1,000 build, and the $1,500 build as per usual. So if you're building a PC within those budgets, no fret. We'll get into those in a few seconds here. And as well, I'll put a few kind of buttons below here that will link directly to that part of the video if you want to jump straight towards the build that you're interested in. As well, all of the builds are linked in the description below. And there's a link to the article on the website in the description below as well. If you want to learn more about the builds or more about the specific hardware included in the builds, go there and you can read about that, and as well comment on the website. And at the very end of this video and at the very end of this article that you see in front of you are the gaming PC peripherals considerations, which are also in three different budgets: the kind of the low end, mid range, and high end budgets for keyboards, mice, and monitors. As well, there's some operating system suggestions at the very end as well. All right, getting started with the $1,500 build for January 2015. Here we go. Starting off, we have, as per usual, for the last little while, the Intel Core i5-4690K processor. It is a little higher in price than usual right now, so it's on $238.99. Look, this will probably jump down a little in price soon here, so keep an eye out for that. But for now, it's at $238.99. And for the cooler for the $1,500 build, we have the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo CPU cooler for $34.99, which will help you overclock this Intel Core i5-4690K. The motherboard we have is the MSI Gaming 5 Z97 motherboard to go along with the processor for $144.99. The graphics card we have is the very powerful GTX 980. GeForce GTX 980 and the Zotac version here that you see here, which is priced perfectly at $549.99 right now. Moving on to the RAM, we have 16 gigabytes of Crucial Ballistic Sport RAM. This is the same kit as last month. It's just a little more pricey than usual at $139.99, so also look out for this decreasing in price soon here. The hard drive we have is a Seagate Barracuda 1 terabyte for $54, and to pair up with that, we also have a solid state drive, the Samsung 850 Pro, very fast solid state drive, 128 gigabytes for $103.99. That's paired with this hard drive to be used as a boot drive and a drive that you put your most used software, games, etc. on to help with the boot speeds. As well, I mentioned in the article that you can also get rid of the 1 terabyte drive, save the $54, or add the $54 under this and kind of bump the solid state drive up to 256 gigabyte one, for example. Up to you. Now for the power supply, we have this 750 watt EVGA Supernova gold certified power supply, which has gone down in price and is a very good purchase in my opinion, one of the best out right now, especially in this price range, for $112.99. And the computer case is actually the exact same one as last month. No notable releases within the last month or since the last article here. With this is the Phantek Enthoo Pro. This is the non-windowed version, and this is it also comes with the windowed version for a little more, but this comes in at $98.46. And then finally, we have the optical drive, this Lite-On Super All-Right optical drive, just cheap, doesn't matter. You can get whatever optical drive you want, or don't get one if you want. Comes out to $1,499.89 currently, so right on budget, which is fantastic. Now moving on, we have some for those that are in the $1,500 budget. It's great, but if you have a little more, a little less, well, a little more, I mean, for the build, there's some considerations that you can do. You can get an Intel Core i7-4790K. If you want an i7, do more than gaming, do video work, etc. This might be a worthy choice. This comes in at $335.99. Or you can, really boost up those graphics. Maybe you want to do some hardcore 4K gaming. You can SLI with another Zotac GeForce GTX 980. That'll cost you another $549.99. You can get another kind of single GPU. This is a dual, kind of a single graphics card, but this is a dual GPU card with a closed loop liquid CPU cooler. And this will be $899.99, so it's cheaper than last month when I had this in the same recommendation spot. So this VisionTech Radeon R9 295X2 video graphics card. And then, or like I said, there's options with your storage. Here's one. For $469.99, you can get a full 1 terabyte Samsung Evo 850 Evo solid state drive, which is a ton of room, and they're way better priced than they used to be, the 1 terabyte versions, that is. All right, moving on to the $1,000 gaming PC build for January 2015. The same processor as the $1,500 build, the Intel i5 4690K, $238.99. For the cooler, we have the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo, $34.99. The motherboard, we have this Asus Z97A motherboard, which is $129.99. And then the graphics card for the $1,000 build is a fantastic card in my opinion. This EVGA GTX 970, $329.99. This is exactly where it should be at. I wouldn't pay more for it, or too much more for it. I would pay a little more for it, but this is the exact price it should be at right now, which is great. Also, moving on, for the RAM, we have 8 gigabytes of Kingston HyperX Fury, this 8 gigabyte kit of 2 4 gigabyte sticks, $71.99. 1 terabyte Seagate Barracuda hard drive for $54. No SSD because this budget, the $1,000 build, just didn't fit it this month. But you can look at the alternatives below for some options, or if you have a little more to spend, or if you want to do a swap of this drive, up to you. Power supply, we have this EVGA Supernova 750 watt power supply for $89.99. This isn't the gold rated one that you saw in the $1,500 build. However, it is still a very good power supply. And actually, it doesn't need to be the 750 watt version. It could be the 650 watt version. The only reason I put the 750 watt version in this month was because it was actually cheaper than the 650 watt version. So I thought, what the heck, I'll throw this one in instead. So if you see the 650 watt version cheaper, you get that instead. Now for the computer case, we have this Corsair Graphite Series 230T orange. The orange version, it comes in gray as well, and I think black. Not sure, but this is $74.99. It's a mid-tower case, very affordable case. Yeah, and then now for the optical drive, we have this Lite-On Super All-Right optical drive, same as all the builds, $18.77. Don't need one if you don't want one. And this budget does come up to a little over, or yeah, over $1,000 this month, but I didn't want to kind of decrease the power of this build just because a few pieces of hardware went up in price. This build overall should go down a little bit in the not too long here, but keep checking if you're wanting to buy this specific build. But it does come out to $1,044.42 right now. Now moving on to some of the alternatives for this build, or additions if you have more to spend. You can add an SSD drive for only $103.99 for 128 gigabyte super fast Samsung 850 Pro SSD, or boost up those graphics, or keep in mind for a future proofing upgrade by SLIing or adding another EVGA GTX 970. And then you can add more hard drive space if you want. Maybe you want you have tons of media, etc. You can get a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda for not much more, for $79.99. An alternate PC case could be the one in the $1,500 build, because I think it's a fantastic purchase for a full tower case, and for the quality of the case coming in at only $98.46. That could be another option for you as well. Now moving on to the $600 gaming PC build for January 2015. This build has not changed too much in months, but maybe it'll change soon. I guess we'll find out, but for now it's still a great build for this budget specifically. The processor we have is the AMD FX 6300 for $99.99. It's unlocked, so you can overclock it. You have the Gigabyte, Gigabyte 78 LMT, GA78 LMT motherboard. It's a micro ATX small motherboard, compact, for $58.99. The graphics card we have is the Sapphire Radeon R9 280 for $189.99. And then the RAM we have, same RAM as the $1,000 build, this 8 gigabyte kit of Kingston HyperX Fury, $71.99. This $54 Seagate Barracuda 1 terabyte hard drive. And then for the power supply, I did switch it up from the generic kind of Corsair one I usually include, but that's because that shot up in price for absolutely no reason. This is a great power supply for this budget. So EVGA 600 watts, $54.99. This EVGA 600B specifically. And then the computer case, this Fractal Design Core 1000 USB 3.0 micro ATX computer case. So it's a nice compact one. Not the same case, but same type of case as last month. It's $37.98. So we have switched it up to a different case, different look. Up to you. I like it. And then the optical drive we have is the same as the rest of the builds. The slide-on optical drive for $18.77. And this build does come to well under the budget of $600 at $586.70, which is awesome. And then so you might have a little more to spend, right? So moving on to the alternatives or the additions to this build that you could add. You have this processor if you want an 8-core faster processor. Here's this AMD 8320 FX series Black Edition, so it's unlocked as well for $145.95 as an alternative processor. Or you can bump up the case to a higher quality, better looking case in my opinion. I really like the Corsair Carbide series Air 240 for $89.99. It's another micro ATX option for you for this build. You can add an SSD. This is a cheaper Samsung 850 EVO 120 gigabyte SSD for $92.67. Or if you do need tons of space, hard drive space, you can bump up for not much more to this 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda for $79.99. All right, so that does it for all the builds. I'm going to move on to the peripheral considerations that we have for all of those, since all the builds don't actually include the mice, keyboard, and monitors that you need to actually run a PC. But if you don't have any of that lying around, or any of that from an old build, or any of that from an old computer that you have, you'll need to also buy those and then consider those into your budget. So that's why I started including these into the builds. Not into the builds, but as an aside to the builds. So for the January 2015, for the high-end gaming PC peripherals, the more expensive ones, so to speak, we have for the keyboard, this Razer Black Widow Chroma mechanical gaming keyboard. It's very cool because it has tons of lights on it, but it's a very easy to use, responsive, nice feeling keyboard for $169.95. The mouse we have is the Logitech G502 Proteus, same as last month, that we included in this spot for $69.99. And then the monitor we have is this Asus PB278Q 27-inch monitor for $59.99, which I put it in the high-end gaming PC peripherals because it's a high-resolution monitor, 2560 by 1440 resolution, but it's also not the most expensive one. So in my opinion, this is one of the more affordable, really good 2560 by 1440 monitors. So that's a good choice there. For the mid-range gaming PC peripherals, the keyboard for $89.99. We have the Razer Black Widow Ultimate, the 215 Elite mechanical gaming keyboard. Another mechanical gaming keyboard. And then the mouse we have is the Logitech G302 Dadius Prime. I think that's how you pronounce it. Dadius gaming mouse for $49.99. And then the monitor is a 1920 by 1080 Asus VG248QE 24-inch monitor, but it has a fast response time. It is 3D capable if you do that very much, but that doesn't matter. It's still a great monitor even without the 3D. But this comes in at $265.14. And then now moving on to the basic PC peripherals. So not basic. You can get really cheap crap for cheaper than this, but this is kind of the basic worthwhile, in my opinion, hardware for gaming. And so the keyboard we have here, we had the Sidewinder one last month in this spot, but for some reason it shot up to about $100, which didn't make any sense to me, but it was a lot cheaper last month. But this month we have this Corsair gaming keyboard, the Raptor K30 for $54.42. The mouse we have is the Roccat tri-button gaming mouse you see here for $24.99. And then the monitor, which is a 1920 by 1080, not the cheapest 1920 by 1080, but it was a little cheaper last month. So you can look at it. I think it was about $170 last month, so it's up by $30, but I still think it's a worthy purchase, and it might go down in price as well, so keep a lookout for that. But it's 24 inches, 1920 by 1080, and it has a fast response time as well. So check that out if you're looking for a new monitor. And that does it for the peripherals. Some quick notes on operating system options. $92 if you want Windows 8.1, $95.88 if you want Windows 7, 64-bit version. Up to you which one you want to get. I have no discrepancies here. As well, just a note, there are free operating system options which aren't good for all if you're wanting to game on all games, but for the most part, Ubuntu, you can download that, try that out. It's free if you want to, or maybe you don't have enough money to buy Windows right now, or whatever the reason, or you really do like Ubuntu. It's an option for you. as well as SteamOS, which is still in beta, mind you. You can try that out, which might be a great option for those that just want to do purely gaming in the future. Up to you. Just some options, notable options. But that does it for this month, January 2015. Thanks for tuning in. I hope I gave you some good options for your gaming PC builds this month. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Visit the site, leave a comment there. But until next month, my name is Corey. Thanks for checking me out. Visit the site, noobcomputerbuild.com, and I'll see you later.